Dave Meyers, 64, recently appeared on the 11th episode of the podcast Comfort Eating with Grace Dent. The star makes up one half of the famous traveling chef duo, the Hairy Bikers, alongside fellow food enthusiast and friend C. King, 55. MasterChef regular Grace, 48, has hosted plenty of famous guests on her podcast with The Guardian, where they discuss their favorite comfort foods before delving a bit deeper into their personal lives. After sharing some tinned tomatoes on toast, the pair spoke about Dave's mother and her unexpected pregnancy news. Grace began by asking Dave about his early childhood, where he described his unusual upbringing due to having much older parents, although he didn't think much of it at the time. "Dave, I understand that you were something of a surprise addition to your parents' lives," she prompted. In response, Dave exclaimed, "Yes. I mean, my mum went to the doctor and it was thought that she had an ovarian cyst. He was called Dr. Morrison, this Scottish GP, and he said, 'Mrs. Meyers, this is the biggest BLY ovarian cyst I've ever seen. You're pregnant.'" At this point, Grace erupted into laughter, before Dave went on to explain that, because his mother was 41, she was told she couldn't have children. "I mean, that's it, you were classed as a very geriatric mother by that point," Grace pointed out. Dave went on to explain that his father was actually several years older than his mother, as he had already been married previously. He said, "So my dad was 55, but he was brilliant. He was a brilliant dad because he had time for me, he could retire." The Hairy Biker star also shared the story of where he believed he was conceived, which he admitted put an end to his parents' exciting post-war travel plans. "I was a surprise to both of them really," he admitted. "I think I was conceived. After the war they started going on holiday and then they went to Switzerland, which was a huge thing for the pair of them from Barrow. They were going to do the Grand Tour of Italy the next year but instead I popped up." Dave fondly recalled the vivacious character he remembered his mother to be in his early years, before she was tragically diagnosed with multiple sclerosis when he was around 8 years old. During the war, she found a job working as a crane driver in a shipyard, and continued driving cranes up to when Dave was born. His father earned his living in a paper mill as a factory worker, which Dave joked made him the sensitive one of the pair. The Hairy Bikers, who both have backgrounds in television production, met in the 1990s and have been on the road together for nearly 20 years. They first appeared on UK television as presenters of the Hairy Bikers Cookbook in 2004, and this show went on to run for 4 seasons on the BBC. Since then, they have hosted a range of shows in a format combining cooking and traveling, including the Hairy Bikers Food Tour of Britain, Hairy Bikers Meals on Wheels and Hairy Bikers Best of British. Watch their latest series The Hairy Bikers Go North tonight at 7 p.m. on BBC Two. The Guardian podcast Comfort Eating with Grace Dent airs weekly on Spotify, Apple and other streaming platforms.